So we're going to get started now with our first speaker. Her name is Michele O'Brien. She's in charge of Minnesota Oncology's Survivor Care Program, and she's going to share a little bit on the survivorship care model that we're looking at developing, but also she's very experienced in how she's worked as a nurse with people just like you. So I'm going to let Michele do a little bit more of an introduction of herself so you get a better background. Michele?
Okay, well, good morning. Everybody's here. It's cold. I just got back from Hawaii. You know, I kind of think I should go back, but I've been an oncology nurse probably since I was born. I wanted to be a nurse from the time I was little. My mom was a nurse by background, and I watched her, and I was just amazed by her abilities to be compassionate, have humor. She many times said, "Are you sure you want to go into nursing?" Because when I wanted to go into nursing, it was in the 80s, and nurses were striking, and it was, you know, well, there's some dismay that was there, and yep, that's what I want to do. Okay, so that's the beginning of my journey. I grew up in New Prague, small town. My first nursing job was downtown Minneapolis at Hennepin County. And it was, wow, a little shake me up a little bit. And I said, don't we have mouthwash and rubbing alcohol? And they're like, no, it's locked up. I'm like, what? Because people drink it. I'm like, what? So, you know, my journey as I've grown as a nurse has been phenomenal. I think walking alongside of people and trying to be present is a gift that God has said, you need to be here, and this is the things that you need to do. I've tried to get out, and I keep getting pushed back in. But I think as I look through my journey, the best thing I found was a lung cancer patient right out of the gate as a new nurse, not knowing what I'm doing. I sat with her every night, and I worked nights. And we talked, because she was told she had a month to live. And so every night, I just kept bringing her paper, because I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I'm like greener than green, small town, not a lot of life experience. And we just keep bringing her paper. And she wrote down everything she wanted to do as a legacy for her family. She wanted to write her humor, what was important to her, you know, moments in her life that she didn't document, that she wanted to desperately get documented. And at the end of that week that I took care of her, and every night we sat, we laughed, we cried. She was very colorful as far as personality. At the end of that week, you know, I was thinking to myself, what am I doing? You know, like, as a nurse, I can't fix her. You know, I want to fix her. She wrote me a 6-page letter saying being present and being there and sitting with her and holding her hand and laughing and crying was a gift that I gave her. And so to this day, I still pull that out when I think it's hard and when I think that I can't do this. So that's my past. That's kind of where I came from. And as I walked through my journey as a nurse, I think it was clear as I moved through it that what we experience as humans here on Earth and how we walk through our journey is touched by many dimensions. It's your physical, it's your functional, it's your emotional, it's your spiritual, it's your social well-being, and all of these pieces are completely touched when cancer brushes by, runs you over, drags you behind the truck, whatever you want to say, you know, when you have cancer touch your life. And so with that drive inside, saying, as a healthcare professional, when I meet with people, it's not just the diagnosis, it's the family, it's your spiritual well-being, it's how is it impacting your social well-being, you know, as far as your work and as far as kind of where you're coming from. I mean, it touches all of those pieces. And as a nurse, I felt that we were reactive. Does that make sense? Instead of being proactive, saying, I have the experience of 22 years of oncology nursing to know what you're going to face. Whether I can tell you all that in one sitting, patients sometimes can't take all that in. So how do I help them along their journey? How do I help sit down and say, what are you the most worried about right now? And let's embrace this. Let's try to figure it out. Let's put it in a perspective of what can we control and what can't we control, and kind of bring that full force. I have the pleasure of working with phenomenal people, and one of which is here, our social worker, our dietitian, our physicians, our nurses, you know, all these, I call them angels on earth, that I'm blessed to be working with, and know that they have those strengths, that where I'm not strong, I have somebody else who's strong to help walk alongside, behind, or in front of the patients that we care for. So that was kind of that vision of what do we need to do to help people feel that they're survivors, no matter where they are. My specialty was lung and esophageal. I dealt with patients that had advanced cancers that weren't going to be cured of their cancer, and more than likely were going to die from their cancer. And they felt, well, I'm not a survivor. And I'm like, yeah, you are, okay? The time that we have here, no matter how much it is, I have to help you survive and help you be embraced. So that's kind of that direction. So that's what we started. It's still a challenge. It's still hard, because I think as patients, we're trying to say, what does survivorship mean to you? And it's personal, and it's subjective, and it's deep, and it talks about quality of life. And how do I help you where you're at? How do I take pieces that you need, not just physical and functional, because we do that. That's healthcare. You know, we help you with nausea and vomiting and, you know, pain and those kind of things. Sometimes really well, sometimes not. I mean, it's all over the board. But deeper than that, you know, kind of deeper than that. So I've been blessed with the ability to do survivorship. And once a patient's diagnosed, I get to sit with them for an hour and say, where are you at? This is the first visit you get to control. Okay? In healthcare, we sit and everybody else controls it, and we kind of ride along the journey and get on that treadmill that somebody speeds up, slows down, stops when you're not ready. And I actually give that power back to say, where are you and how do I help you? So we meet with them I meet with them at diagnosis, I meet with them when their treatment is completed, I meet with them post, you know, 6 months, year, wherever people are at. If they have advanced cancer, those intervals could be tighter because they might need me, you know, a little differently. So that's kind of that perspective of what we're doing for survivorship. I have it in Edina in a clinic. We're doing it in Minneapolis. We're doing it in Coon Rapids. And slowly, my challenge is to take it to all the clinics so that it's led by nurses and led by advanced practice nurses to kind of help patients along their journey. So that's just a little background, probably more than you want, of where I was and where I am. And I still haven't grown up, and still want to figure out where I'm supposed to be. And patients teach me every day. Patients and families every day teach me the power of being present and the power of being here and being mindful, and, you know, those kind of things that my kids get, you know, tired of me hearing, saying, you know, where's the mindful person? You know, are you here? Are you looking at somebody when you talk to them? Those kind of things. Trying to teach them those journey things that are important and part of our essence and being. So that's just a little bit, very little bit about me. How Jake and I had met was he was questioning as a survivor, wanting to give back, and had these two skill sets that just happened to fit a void. And had called talked to one of our social workers, and the social worker had called and said, Michele, maybe you should talk to him. Well, immediately we connected. Immediately it was, okay, well, there's a divine intervention here, kind of saying, hello, you know, we need to work together. So I truly do think that this was a challenge for patients, and we don't have the resources for it. The financial burden that comes from cancer diagnosis is tough. And the spiritual piece of it is, you know, some people question their faith. the existential crisis that people go, the role identity, who I am. One lady said, I didn't think I'd ever be mad that I couldn't vacuum until I can't vacuum. I go, I get it. I get it, you know, because that's part of your responsibility, your role that you think is so commonplace, but when it's taken away, it's another piece of that grief and loss. So how do we work through some of those things? So that's how we kind of got connected in that way.